Hi guys. Last time we talked about a big, like a top 1% of the high income family, their way of dealing with the applications, college admissions. Okay, they basically heavily relied or depend on the humans and consultant. And then I'm not saying that is wrong, that's a crime, anything. Obviously, if you see that as an investment, and you're willing to spend that money, be my guest, no problem. But I was just saying that you have to consider as the startup. We have to think about making some changes, right? So our mission, the central mission, is to level the play field to the extent possible. Meanwhile, we don't want to get rich people, out of their way to say, "Hey, you can't spend that money on that. That's not the social. That's not the capitalism, right?" So that's one thing. The major consideration is the middle class people, people with the first generation of a college, people who does not or will not spend that half a million or $250,000 right, even before their kids got into college. Right before that, they spend that much money already. And not every family is willing to do that. So the startup that we want to create it is to offer the opportunity. If you don't have that amount of money, if you don't want to spend that money, we give you some other way. So you basically make it available to everybody. So that's the first mission. The second thing, I think, to make our startup like a future proof is that we have to understand what's the new trend in the AI age. The biggest difference, if you ask me, you're not asking me, but I'm just, as the startup, the idea, the philosophy is that with the AI, we have the focus. It's no longer the how well you write, okay, but the AI highlight the importance of data. So that's a mind change. You have to change the mindset. Otherwise, you're missing the boat. Let's look at a few three examples in the current how the current colleges admissions dealing with AI fraud, dealing with academic dishonesty. Let's look at the Duke University, starting from 2024. They basically saying that we don't, and we still consider, we still accept the essays, but we will not see how well your essay is written. Why? Because your essay may be written by AI, or maybe if you're one of the rich kids, you might hire the consultant to write it for you. That, by the way, is a big problem. I don't think that the consultant should be drafting uh, essays directly for the client. That's just not the right way to do that. I'm not saying that I have evidence to say that a lot of consultants they actually drafting the essay for their client. But if they do, then that's wrong, right? But anyway, so Duke basically says that, well, given the possibility that your essay may be not written by you, by yourself, by the candidate, by the applicant, we're going to say that we won't give you we won't grade you on the format, but we only look at your content. Well, that's a kind of like idea is good, but it's not really good. Why? Because you format and the content, they often goes together. If you have a content, it's good, but your format you present it a lousy way, and then you can't really. So it's not a hit the root cause of the problems. Okay, so that's one solution. And then the second solution, let's look at the Princeton. Princeton actually has two solutions. The first one is that ask everybody, anybody applying for Princeton, You have to pledge. You have to make a personal statement saying everything, the application material, all prepared by yourself. Okay, so but that's that's again, it's not that you're hitting not hitting the root problems, because even though your application, when you do the application, you may say, yeah, I did it myself, but the material, let's go back to the material, the content, right? If the content is like it's not as truthful, then you may still be lying, be cheating, right? The second Princeton solution is that I think that's a pretty good one, the smart one, at least moving to the right direction. They ask each applicant to show at least one term paper from the like last year, senior or junior year of the high school, and then that has to be article or paper written for class, and it has been graded by the high school teachers, and they use that as a reference to say. But again, using one term paper is just the sample is too thin. So basically, or for most the other colleges, they may not have that specific solutions like Duke and Princeton, but they number one solution is to use the AI detection software. But again, those are not reliable. Okay, so so obviously, you're not hitting the root cause of the problem. You're just dealing with the symptom. So that's why we say that in the future, that's why we say our product, our startup is future proof. Why? Because in the future, data, the real data, represent the future. With the real data, you can even you can even let it allow AI to do the drafting for you, because everything, every all the raw material is real. And then so that's why you if you fail to recognize the data is the key, then you are missing the boat. So that's why we have to look at this one. In our startup, we very much emphasize the data. But what do you mean? What is the data? The data is what we call annotated chronicle of personal preference. That's why our model is actually called a COPA. A stands for annotated. C means chronicle, and O means off, right? And PA means that the personal achievement. So that's the model behind this. Basically, if you ask me to summarize this thing, our startup idea into one thing, then we can say that verified achievement will be the future, will be the future transcript, will be the future resume. So that's why it's also that we will say that the startup, the idea is it's called revolutionize the human assessment. Okay, so we encourage people to write a diary entry, and then you have somebody to verify for you. And then obviously we at first, to ensure the quality, and then in order to set up a reputation, we will only ask professional verifier, like people, like the teachers and mentors and counselors and coaches, principals, those people. So to have a set, to have a to put on to be on the safe side. But really, in the future, we will gradually testing out to see if the peer student, the student, they provide different perspective than the teachers and the coaches, then mentors, then principals, then counselors, right? So, but then let's in the first stage, let's do that the professional, non-student, okay? Unless you're doing some, in a position to evaluate others, then we encourage you to be registered as a dual account. You will be the achiever and you'll be also a verifier. And then, but also in order to ensure the validity and reliability, we will ask that each achievement will have at least one professional verifier. So that's the idea behind. Let's get to that later.